All right, guys, we got a different project today. So the boiler that you hear coming on in the background when I do my videos from time to time, here it is. So what's happening with this boiler right now is every once in a while it shuts off or it tries to start and then it trips the safety. So for the last few years, I've been having a problem with it where every once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, it'll trip the safety. When I come down here and I hit the reset, it fires right up, okay? There's a little light right over here that comes on when it's tripped red. You hold this, boom, take your finger off, and it starts right up. So I've never ever been able to actually see it happen. What is going on when it actually happens? Because every time I come down here to when it's off, it resets automatic. It resets with no problem. So the last week, it's happened 4 times. So obviously, whatever has been going on with this boiler, it's getting worse. So just the other day, I came down and it was tripped. The red light was on. I hit the button and it buzzed. Okay, so I could hear the coil firing in there. So I know that's working, but it wasn't turning on. The motor wasn't turning on. So I took my dead blow and I tapped it. Boom, she starts right up. Okay. So I said, oh, that's the first time I've actually seen it do what it does when it trips this. Well, it happened a couple of more times, and every time I would come down here to restart it, I'd have to hit the motor to get it to stop. And then it runs fine a few more times, and then it trips again. So there's a couple of things that could be bad in here. I mean, the motor itself, the windings could be bad, and it's landing on a bad spot at certain times, and it won't turn, kind of like a starter in a car. Sometimes where you shut it off when you hit the key, it won't stop, but if you give it a tap, it'll go. It could be that. It could be the bearings. Maybe it's getting cocked a little bit inside when it shuts off, and then when it tries to fire it up, it's too much resistance, so it won't spin, and it trips this because this is a safety device. Because you don't want to keep pouring oil in here. You don't want to hit this reset too many times because you could have a really big problem if this thing fired up with a lot of oil in there. The other thing that might be happening, I'm not sure, but because it's been doing it a long time, I'm thinking it might be possible, is this particular motor has a centrifugal in it. I don't know what kind of a centrifugal's in here because they make a couple of different styles. One of them's a real cheap design where it's just a couple of copper fingers that kind of flare out. And then they have the older style that actually, and they still use them today, but they have the other style that actually has a set of weights and springs. If those contacts are bad or dirty, it might not start the motor because a lot of times you'll have a stop winding and then a run winding, and what happens is when the motor starts up, it starts up on a different winding, or it puts electricity through both windings, and then as soon as it picks up RPM, the centrifugal pops out and the stop winding disengages. If it stays engaged, it'll burn up. This thing will smoke. It'll smoke them windings up. So sometimes, and I've had motors in the past where the contacts get all pitted up, and if you clean them off, it fixes it. Because this has been happening for a long time, I'm thinking it's probably not a bearing problem. It's more, I mean, I'm talking years. Every once in a while, it would trip a couple times a year. So it might be that. I'm not sure what it is. But what I did was, I know it's the motor. I bought another one. They're like $96. And I'm going to just replace this. If it is the centrifugal, I'll clean it up and I'll put it on the bench so that if there's a problem, I'll have a spare, something in an emergency. And I've replaced all these components I've replaced this magnetic here, the coil, the aquastat I've replaced. I put this boiler in back in 1990 when I bought the house. The house had electric heat. I bought it knowing I was going to put a heating system in it. And I did it all myself. I did everything. I put the whole thing in myself. So I maintain it, and it's been a really good boiler. I actually put 2 more systems in one in my father's house and one in my brother's house. And those are a little bit newer than this one, but this is about 36 years. Theirs are, I don't know, 20, 25, 28 years old, and they're still running fine. So I think right from the get-go, this particular boiler had an issue, this motor. So we're going to fix that today. We're going to put a new motor on it. And I replaced all these components through the years just because this boiler is old. The controller that I have, the aquastat, and the coil, they still worked, but they were old. And I put them on the shelf so that in the middle of the night, on the coldest day in the winter, when the boiler will go bad, if it's gonna, I have components that I can use, and then the next day go get a part and replace it. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll see if we can fix this, put it on the shelf, but we'll replace it with a new one right now. And the new one has a capacitor. It doesn't have a centrifugal. All right. All right. So here's the brand new motor. It is a Beckett. It's a. This one actually has a different number. So I told him I wanted a... Alright, so on here it's a 21805U. Over here it's a 22825U. Oh, but it's stamped over here. Oh, you know what? I know what this is. I'll bet you this box is for 2 different motors. This is a 21805U. We'll check the part number when it's in here. Jeez, I didn't even see that. I'll bet what they'll do is they circle this, and they just didn't circle it. Let's see what's in here. Yep, it's a 21805U is what is supposed to. This is the replacement for that particular one. All right. And like I said, it was 96 bucks. So that's not bad. It's pretty reasonable. Okay. It's a pretty simple setup. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different, well, this one might be fine. When the last time that when I put the controller on, or the lockout, what I was noticing was the nuts, the wire nuts, looked like they had been backing off a little bit, and I thought maybe that was my problem. It was just, they would have a little disconnect from time to time, and what I did was I soldered them together and put a twist nut on the top. And I was thinking I may have to unsolder those, but I don't remember it having this on the end, so we'll see. I may have to clip these and solder them in. We'll see what we have to do. And it's going to be tough to show you this because it's pretty tight over there. I have my big bench over here in front of the lathe. Now, it's on wheels. I can move it. But there's a lot of stuff that's got to be moved to do it. So we'll see what happens. But it's pretty basic. I haven't had one of these off in a very long time, years. But basically the squirrel cage, the blower motor's got to come on here. And then there'll be a shaft. And I think I got a spare one. I actually don't have a spare one. There's a plastic shaft that goes in here that if for some reason the burner backfires, it will melt that little plastic shaft and disengage it. I believe I changed the one that was in there last time, and there's like 15 different plastic couplers that you can have depending on the type of burner, depending on the particular burner you have. So when I pull that out, I will measure that, and I will order another one. They're like $6. They're not expensive. But I remember I did change that before. I must have used it because I thought I had one in the drawer. All right, that's it. Like I said, this one has a capacitor. The other one isn't. And I had was chatting with somebody from Beckett yesterday. And they told, because it's a different motor design. It's a lot different. And I asked them what the difference was, and they said they got rid of the centrifugal. So hopefully this is a better design. I mean, it looks pretty good. I don't know where it's made. God only knows. Probably made in China. Who knows? But Beckett's always been a good company, even if the unit was made outside the United States. At least you would hope it's made to Beckett standards, Beckett quality. So we'll see. It's supposed to be a upgraded motor. It's supposed to be a better design. All right, get some tools and get over there. All right, I'm going to try and stay out of your way. So, boiler is off. Switch is off, so there's no electricity. Hopefully this won't be my last time working on the boiler. The motor is bolted down here by 2 bolts, and then the wiring goes in through here and then up into the controller. So we have to be able to get in here to fish that through. So this is the coil assembly that ignites the little electrodes to ignite the fuel. And there's a lot of wires in here. Alright, if you take a look, these are the 2 wire nuts that I had soldered the wires together, and I wrapped tape so the nuts wouldn't come off. I think what I might do is I might just splice this wire and put a I might put a connector on the end to put those in. We'll have to see. Let's see how it turns out. Because I really don't feel like unsoldering those wires. And you can see the heat actually makes this tape kind of cruddy. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these, give them a little end so I can put those little ends on there. Make a lot easier installation. Let me get a pair of wire cutters. I'll just clip it back here. Alright, that'll give me two little ends to, if I decide to put those little connectors on there. And we'll fish this through here. Oh, it's got a little metal clip on here to keep it from being pulled through. And it looks like a staple. And it just goes on the wire to keep it from getting pulled through. All right. I got to clean this boiler this year. Now this whole unit should slide right out. Nice and easy. And if you look at it, this is the plastic piece that connects the, it actually, what it does is it connects the fuel pump to the motor. Okay, but that's it. And we are going to take this apart at some point in time. I'm going to take the back plate off of this. That's usually where the centrifugal is. It feels lighter than the other one, the new one. Alright, so we're going to take this over because we got to put the squirrel cage on the new motor. Alright, so we're back. We have the fan blade, squirrel cage, whatever you want to call it. Blower wheel is what it's officially called. One of the things that came with it was a dimension chart. So if you look at this, this is an AFG, so our clearance underneath the wheel is 30 thousandths. I had measured 35 on the other one, and the overall length is 2 inch 630 plus or minus 15 thousandths. And if you look at it closely, and it's really hard to see, let me see here, both of these measurements go from the face, not the lip. That's installed right here. Goes off of this face right here. So this face. Okay. Alright, so we got a 30 thousandths feeler gauge. .30 thousandths. And then I made a little setup to measure the overall length. Alright, so how I'm going to start this is, and if you look at these, they're not perfectly even. These little things that poke through, so I don't know how close of a tolerance there really is, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put a drop of red Loctite on it. And where'd my 30 thousandths feeler gauge go? Oh, right here. I'm going to put this under here to get a close reading. So it's touching a little bit too hard. I'm just going to pick it up just a little bit. Still a little too hard. I mean, it's got clearance pretty much all the way, and it's just touching. So I'm going to lock that down, just snug it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go off the top of these. This is a tool bit. It's 1/2 inch. So we'll set this right around 1/2 inch. Actually, let's do this. We'll clear that. 0. That'll subtract the thickness of this tool bit. And we're going to go right down to the face. Actually, let's do it like this. So we got 2-inch 522. It's supposed to be 2-inch 630. Let's see what it is to this edge right here, the outside edge. Inch 600. .630 plus or minus 15. It's pretty damn close. Now, let's go get the other one. Just set this in here for now. Now, this one has not come off. I'm going to go to the outside edge where it mounts. This one is 2-inch 625 to the outside edge. So that is pretty much exactly where it should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up on the other one till I get that. Yeah, 620, 627. So this one actually has a little bit more clearance on the bottom. They're both the same height. So I'm going to give it just a little more clearance. Hurry up before that Loctite dries. And give it a little bit more. It's got plenty of clearance now. Let's see what we get. $640. That's a little bit more than what I want, so I'm going to back that down just a little bit. Still got plenty of clearance. I'm probably going way too crazy about this. I'm sure they just use a ruler. 627. That's exactly what this one is to that face. So I'm going to tighten that up, and that's where it's going. And when I measured this under here on this one, I got 35 thousandths. See what we get. And 35 fits good. So, you know what? I'm going to go with that. All right, boiler's off. Need my wrench. And we're gonna replace this. Oop, if you can see it. So we got a couple of new ones. Always keep a spare. It's easier to put the pump side on first because it's smaller and it doesn't rotate as. I mean, put it on this side first because when you go to put it in, the pump doesn't rotate as easy as the motor. my flashlight. I'm going to mark the flat. Alright, so the flat's up. This flat's not up either. The other one there, both flats are on the same side. Alright, let's try something else here. Let's do this. Mark this flat up. We're going to put that one in last anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Alright, let's do this. Give this a shot. Put the flat up. There we go. We just rotate it. That's it. I don't like how the insulation is on this piece of wire. It's very spongy. So I'm going to take that out and go right to it and solder it. I had a little zip tie right on there. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to unsolder this wire. It's very mushy. I'm going to zip tie this particular area right here so they don't all unwind on me, and then just pull this one out. Again, that's just so they don't all fall apart and hold them together. Oh, you don't even have to do this one. I actually just nipped a little piece off the top of the solder. It was just bottoming out. Alright, put it back together. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, put this little ring on the wire where it comes in. Okay, got a pair of pliers over here somewhere. Open it up just a little bit. Alright, that just keeps it from getting pulled out. on some hot water. All right, let's turn it back on. And we'll wait for it to kick on. All right, I'm gonna go shut off the hot water. All right, if we break this, I really don't care, because I do have, like I said, I have another whole AFG burner head out in the garage, and the only reason I didn't use that other motor was it's kind of old too, so I figured for, you know, for the 90-95 bucks, just buy a new one. So we'll see what's in here. If it's something that can be fixed, we'll fix it. If not, we might turn this into a demagnetizer. Okay. You can get a hammer. Different screwdriver. Now, it looks like it's just a bearing right here. A little fiber bearing. Usually if they have one of those centrifugals with the little copper fingers, they're out on the back. So I don't see, because this, it's very dry. This grease is all out here, but it's all dried up. Oh, maybe that was the problem. Let's see if we can drive this out. Alright, so there's our centrifugal right there. It's on the front side. Oh, this one does have a pretty elaborate one. So that's our centrifugal right there. So what happens is once this starts up, the weights fly out and it moves it away from the contactors. This right here moves. Okay. Now I think I see the problem. Let me get a flashlight in here. If you look down in here, I don't know if you guys can see that, it is burnt to a crisp. That is what the problem is. So I'm going to take this off so we can take a look at it. Oh crap, that sucker's in there. That's it. I'm going to take this apart so that you can see it. Try to get it apart without breaking it. Spring in behind there, and you can see where it's burnt right there. And I'm just going to bend this up, and that's what's the matter with this motor. So this motor could be fixed. All I need is a contactor. Whether you could actually buy that or not, I don't see it listed anywhere on the pots, but maybe there's a pot number on here. But that's it. It is burnt to a crisp. Burnt to a crisp. Alright, so I really don't need this motor. So really, to go through the trouble of trying to find a set of contact points for this specific style, yeah, I don't really think it's worth it. But like I said, so what happens is this is going to run electricity through the start winding. As soon as this starts to spin, these little weights right here are going to spin out, and they move this back, which pulls it off the contactor, and it goes into the run winding. When it winds down, they click back in, the springs pull them back in, and it's ready to be started again. Okay? They've been using stuff like this for years. But like I said, you can't get this off. They told me don't even bother trying to get it off. I did put a little heat on it, I actually took my torch, went down there and just touched this right here a little bit, figuring if there was some Loctite on there it would break it down, but I just ordered another one, and you know what we did, we put it together. But other than that, I'm not sure why. Oh, this is the magnet. I'm like, that's weird. It's a real cheaply made motor. It's the rotor inside this is, well, I don't know if you call this a rotor. It's got to be. This is the magnet in here, I would imagine. But that's it. That's what was the matter with it. Pretty simple, pretty basic. These things go bad all the time. When I bought my Logan lathe, it didn't have a motor on it. They were going to switch it over to single phase. It was actually a 3-phase Logan, which really surprised me, being a small Logan lathe. But I had a 5-horse, a little big for the machine, but I had a 5-horse motor that came out of Granger, and I was having a little bit of trouble with it right off the bat. And I don't know if I told you this, but one of my buddies told me, who worked in a motor shop, that it was the fingers in the back. I tweaked them and they were fine. But all right, so another good job, another finished job, just in time for the winter. It is the end of October right now. Another week and a half, it'll be the election. Can't wait. And we shouldn't have to worry about this shutting off in the winter. Now, I just realized this. I could show you this. This is a little circuit breaker right here. But if you see the 2 wires come in here and they go into the windings, then you got these 2 wires right here. These 2 wires are the stop winding. They go to this. These 2 wires go into here, which is the run winding. When this powers up, I do believe, I could be wrong, anybody that's an electrician, jump in. I am not an electrician. I believe it feeds voltage to both windings. Once the centrifugal kicks out, it takes it away from the stop winding. I believe that's what it is. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to turn this into a demagger, because this is actually nice because it's all housed. We can probably tack weld. It's far enough away, the windings, from the shell, so I could probably tack weld the legs on it and put it on a block, and we can turn this into a demagner. Okay, but that's the part number, and like I said, they do have an updated motor. So, well, hey guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all you guys watching these videos. If you could hit the like button, that gets the video spread around. Hit the subscribe. About 90% of the people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed, which, you know, whatever, but it helps my channel grow. I do this for fun, like I said before, so I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next video, or you will see me. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.